Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Today we're at Holmes Honda, and our primary focus in this video will be the differences between the turbocharged version of the Honda Accord and the naturally aspirated version. First of all, the difference is going to be found in price. If you go with the turbocharged engine, which is going to be the non-hybrid version, the base price is going to be $27,295. Now, if you go with the naturally aspirated, which is going to be the hybrid version of the Accord, its base price is $32,895. And while there are some cosmetic differences as far as the exterior goes, from one trim level to the next, for the most part, it's going to look pretty much the same as far as LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, the overall design of the front end, and other features as well. So let's talk about the main differences here. Under the hood of the EX trim level Accord that we have here, the crystal black model is going to be the 1.5 liter turbocharged four-cylinder. Makes 192 horsepower and 192 pounds-feet of torque. Mated to a continuously variable single-speed transmission, or CVT. Drive it before you judge it. I promise you this is more well-behaved, the CVT here, than with a lot of other vehicles, even previous generations of Hondas. Now, how about those all-important MPGs? Well, here's what we have. 29 city, 37 highway, 32 combined. And Honda says you should use 3.1 gallons of gas for every 100 miles you drive. And engine option number 2, under the hood of the platinum white hybrid version of the Accord that we have here today, it's going to be a combination of the 2-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder and obviously the electric motor. The good thing about this combination is that it's not like a true EV where you're only reliant on how much charge capacity the vehicle has. And depending on the situations you find yourself in, well, you can run through that charge capacity rather quickly. Here, if you run low on charge capacity, the gas engine kicks on and you're still able to drive and the vehicle can function with no problem. Horsepower numbers come in at 204, not a big difference from 192 with that turbocharged 1.5 liter. The big difference, torque numbers, 247 pounds-feet. Here we have an eCVT, again, very well behaved. But a big difference is going to be found with the MPGs. We're going to be looking at 46 city, 41 highway, 44 combined, and 2.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Now, you might notice that those MPGs between city and highway are flip-flopped from what we saw on the EX over here. Why is that? Because when you're out driving on the highway at highway speeds, you won't be in hybrid mode or EV mode the same way you will be when you're just cruising around through the city. Quite a different situation, but that's in essence, in a very simplistic way of explaining it, why those numbers are basically reversed. And as we take a look at cargo capacity, let's talk about differences that you will get with turbocharged and hybrid powertrains. The cargo numbers are the same at 16.7 cubic feet. But the big difference that you're going to find in this particular area is found right here under the floor of the cargo area. There's a spare tire here with this model. And I know this may not be the most popular thing. Some people are not going to be too worried about it, but just in all fairness, I'll let you know, you won't find a spare tire here. You will find a tire repair kit. So we're going to start out our test drives with the turbocharged version, the EX, in today's video, which, by the way, if you want to see a full video on either one of these Accords that I'm featuring in today's video, check out the links down in the comments section. I will try to remember to pin a comment that gives you links to both videos. And if I forget, somebody please remind me. That shouldn't be a problem. The big difference here is going to be seen when you drop the hammer. You're going to definitely tell a difference between the two, even though this EX with a turbocharged 1.5 liter definitely gets up to speed without any trouble. And while the horsepower is not that big of a difference, 192 for the turbocharged engine compared to 204 for the naturally aspirated hybrid version of the Accord, the torque numbers are what really makes the difference. Both of these vehicles handle very well. They're fun to drive. It really does have a fairly sporty feel to it as far as the driving experience goes. And you have quite a few options depending on what trim level you go with, and especially if it's hybrid or non-hybrid, as far as different driving modes go. So depending on your situation, here we have Econ. We can also go into sport mode if we wanted to. We would do that with the shifter by simply shifting from D to S, and that would take care of that. And you can tell a little bit of a difference because the RPM of the engine works and moves a little more freely, so it's going to go a little higher, a little quicker than it would otherwise. Maybe not higher, but quicker would probably be the better way to put that. But I'll tell you what, if you want the most sporty driving experience, you have the higher torque numbers. Remember, we're looking at torque numbers in the difference of 192 for the turbocharged engine. The non-turbocharged or naturally aspirated goes up to 247. Let's switch over to that vehicle right now. Okay, now that we're out with the Accord Hybrid, let's talk about the differences here as far as the overall driving experience goes. And it really is quite different. Both Accords, whether they're turbocharged or naturally aspirated, offer a very nice sporty driving experience, but you really can't compete with what the hybrid version offers. It just seems to be so much quicker with everything that you do. You have all of your driving modes selectable through a drive mode selector here on the center console. We didn't really have that except for Econ mode, and then you could use the shifter to go into sport mode. But here you really have a big difference. The sporty feel makes it a lot of fun to drive. If you're having a stressful day and you want to go out and drive spiritedly, well, this one's not going to let you down. And even though there's really no difference in ride quality or anything like that, there's no difference in road noise or wind noise or anything along those lines, although you might seem to get a little bit more here if you're in EV mode because it's going to be more quiet than it would be otherwise. It's really not that there's a difference at all. Now, you will notice some differences in the infotainment screen size and all of that, but obviously that's dependent on trim level. So yeah, depending on what you want, what your situation is, well, you can choose one way or the other. Some people like a turbocharged engine, some people like naturally aspirated. Obviously, if you want to go hybrid with the Accord, you're not going to have a choice but to go with the naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder that's under the hood with this particular model. But not a big deal. I am curious to know what your preferences are and why you might prefer turbocharged or non-turbocharged. It's always interesting to know, but I'll tell you what, one thing that would definitely be a lot of fun, unfortunately I don't have any way to do this, not legally at least, and so we're not going to do anything crazy, but would be to line these two up against each other and actually have a drag race and see what happens, see how closely matched they might be. I feel pretty sure that this hybrid model would end up ahead at the finish line, but it would be fun to find out. But one way or another, each model definitely has its advantages, and I'm not really going to say necessarily that there's disadvantages. I think all that really comes down to personal preference, depending on your situation, your needs, your desires. So tell me what you think. Those are the differences between the turbocharged and the non-turbocharged or naturally aspirated versions of the 2023 Honda Accord. Which one do you prefer and why? Curious to know why you answered the way that you did. I have to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me both of these Accords for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.